Welcome to Healthier, Happier You, the people working to make it happen. I'm Evan G. Cholfin from Lexhammer, where we help the brands to help you live healthier. Today, I'm joined by Jim Phillips, co-founder and CEO of Graymatter Labs, who's transforming how we approach cognitive enhancement and ADD management. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Evan.
Glad to have you. So what's the origin story behind Graymatter?
So it's really a story of solving my own problems as a very young entrepreneur. I was VC backed at the ripe age of 26. And like many people, I didn't know what I was doing. And I resorted to lots of Adderall, too many coffees, thinking that it would get me ahead. And it actually had the opposite effect. I got more anxiety and was ineffective and just was a poor leader. It got to the point where I thought that there had to be a better way. Started studying kind of the neuroscience behind why I wasn't having the success that I was looking for. And it led me to do two things. I taught myself how to meditate, which was really impactful and still is to today. And I started learning about and experimenting with nootropics and adaptogens in a really functional manner. And if you don't know what those are just plant-based substances or natural substances that enhance your cognition in a really functional way. And it was really effective for me. When I would talk about it to friends and family, it was just obvious that most people didn't know what a nootropic was. And that gave me the idea that there was an opportunity to create a company around enhancing the awareness of plant-based cognitive supplementation. Now, I didn't do anything with it at the time, but fast forward in my career, our previous company, the Graymatter, is called Charm. Charm tracks every direct-to-consumer e-commerce brand in the world. So it's basically a database of all Shopify stores and WooCommerce stores. And it kind of gave me this bird's eye view into e-commerce and what companies were doing the best in any category and commonalities across them. And it made me want to start my own brand. And so I went back to that original idea I had as a young entrepreneur. I got together with a PhD molecular biologist, formulated Bright Mind as it is today, and went to market with it as a side project that has now eventually gotten so successful that it's been my main thing.
Awesome. So what makes your approach with Bright Mind unique in the nootropic space?
It has to do with the number of ingredients and the effective dosages that we have. When I approach this, there's obviously other similar types of products that came before us. But to me, and to many other people like our customers, they've all been a little too subtle. I could feel it, but sometimes I was maybe questioning if it was working. And for most consumers out there, they haven't taken any sort of cognitive supplement. And if it's their first time, I wanted to make sure that they could have no mistake about whether or not it was working. So it took us a while to formulate it, but there's 27 active ingredients in it. There's nootropics in it. There's adaptogens. There's green tea energy. There's a vitamin stack. We actually have a few ingredients in there to help your vision because we're all staring at screens all day. So it's this comprehensive blend. And the key thing is that when you take it, you can feel it within 10 to 15 minutes of drinking it. It's a drink mix. You just put it in water and drink it, and you notice it working. And it fires up your brain in a way that is just a lot more than a coffee, but maybe a little bit less than a prescription stimulant. So in that way, we're a bit more powerful than what's on the market today.
It's awesome. And what's the core problem that you're solving for people that struggle with focus and attention?
People want more alternatives to the options that are out there. I mentioned coffee. A lot of times it can give you a crash. It doesn't give you that ability to get into a flow state. But the other alternatives, if you are prescribed a stimulant like an Adderall, people don't tend to feel like themselves on it. And, it can have some bad side effects when it comes to cardiovascular health. And there just should be an alternative to that. And so we set out to create that. There's lots of substances in our mix that are really effective at firing up different neurotransmitters in your mind to help you with memory, to help you with sustained cognition. And we were able to make that and put it together in a way that's really effective and gives people alternatives to what's out there today.
Where are you focusing most of your energy in the business right now?
There's a lot to do. I do have a co-founder, but he has a full-time job. So a lot of the majority of the operating has been me. So focusing on kind of getting the business ready to scale across all of the different segments of it. In particular, the demand for our product has been very high. And so I'm working with our manufacturer on different ways that we can start to produce it faster so we can meet that demand. And then also just starting to professionalize some of our processes around content and our go-to-market strategy. So there's a lot to do, and there's always something different every day. But it's kind of the joys of being an entrepreneur and why I do it.
Could you tell us a little bit more about content and what you're up to?
To be honest with you, I don't think that our content is very good right now. I mean, it's okay, but it's kind of amateur in my opinion. I think that we can do it a lot better. I am not a designer. I'm not a content creator. And so we can bring in some professionals to really help us do that. One of the obvious areas of opportunity is social. We do some posts online, but could be a lot more consistent and make things that are a bit more effective. And so we're really going to lean into that. That should bring down our cost of acquisition when we are running ads. We can use that as a testing ground for running new ads, focusing in on making different short form content and videos.
So, who's seeing the best results with Bright Mind? What's your ideal customer profile?
Yeah, what's really interesting about this is that anyone can strengthen their cognition. Anyone can benefit from this. So there's lots of different um, ideal customer profiles that have come to us and have found success. One of the main ones is people that have ADHD. Now, we're not any sort of prescription for it. We don't claim to treat it in any way, but it is something that shows up in our reviews that people with ADHD tend to enjoy the product, especially if they're not liking their prescription stimulants or at least looking for another alternative. We've helped people with cognitive decline. We've helped people that are biohackers and just looking for something that is a little bit more effective to get into a flow state. So the reality is that all of us can benefit from nootropics. There's literally zero downside to them if you do it right. There's no sort of crash, no sort of negative side effect. And you're increasing the different neurotransmitters in your mind that help you feel better and help you focus longer. And I think everyone can benefit from that.
So, changing topics a little bit, what's been your biggest challenge in growing Gray Matter this year?
Been in production and staying in stock. Good problem to have, but also very stressful when you have lots of subscribers and they want the product. And, for whatever reason with your manufacturer, you aren't able to get it to them as fast as you'd like. So a lot of what I've been doing this year has been trying to shore up our manufacturing processes to really get us ready to scale, because it very much feels like we're knocking on the door of being something quite big. And we need to make sure that we can deliver and keep that product at a top tier quality and be able to produce as much as the market wants.
Would you say that's your biggest roadblock right now to hitting your growth targets?
Yeah, definitely. Because our content has been, and I know I just said that we need to make it better, but it has been working. So our content's been working, our ads have been working, and actually kind of growing faster than we would have expected. And so the only thing that's holding us back now is being able to produce the product fast enough, which is a problem that can absolutely be fixed. It's just a matter of working and making it happen.
So, how are you handling the challenges of competing with prescription medications and traditional supplements?
We feel very okay that there's competition. We like competition. I think it brings the best out of everyone. From an education standpoint, it actually helps you to go into a market where there's been incumbents educating the consumer. So we think that we've come in with a better product than what has been out there. And I think you can objectively say that just based on the ingredients that are in ours compared to some others. From prescription stimulants, we aren't against those in any way. Some people need them, but we just feel very strongly that there should be an alternative. And so we're occupying the space of being that alternative and, being able to help people along the way that need that has been really fulfilling.
And what makes it difficult to stand out in an increasingly crowded nootropics market?
Like I said, I think that the people that have come before us, the companies that come before us, have actually helped us. Part of what we did last year was go through a big rebrand and really thoughtful about how we could be both broad and specific. Like broad meaning that we can apply to a lot of different people, but specific in our message that it was clear that we can help them in various different ways. So our branding has been quite good. It's very recognizable. Our website always gets compliments and converts at a high manner. So we invested a lot in that brand because in today's age, yes, you're right. Like there can be new companies popping up easier than and faster than ever before in history. And so I think the brand really becomes your part of your moat. And so we're leaning a lot into that and just trying to create some community around what it means to be a Graymatter customer and what it means to invest in strengthening your cognition and just the overall kind of impact that improving your mind can have on your life, and creating spaces for people that think about that and invest in that and want to be a part of the kind of Graymatter community.
Absolutely. So, what are your main growth targets for this year?
We want to get about twice the size we are now in terms of revenue before the end of the year. The stretch goal would be about 3 times the size of that. So we're growing pretty fast, about 40 to 50% month over month from a revenue standpoint. You're going to want to continue to grow our subscriber base and help more people. The main thing is that we're here to help people. And if our product does that successfully, then in my opinion, most of the rest of the operational things take care of themselves, or they certainly get a lot easier. And so it all starts with having a really good product. So we'll never take our eye off the ball on that. And the goal is to just help as many people as we possibly can. So that's going to come, if we do that right, that'll come with, increases in revenue and just overall increases in the value of the business.
Absolutely. And how are you acquiring most of your customers?
That's mostly through digital ads, so Meta and Google. Now we are getting to a point where word of mouth is starting to take shape. Word of mouth, in my opinion, is the best form of marketing. It's difficult to generate, especially when you're new. So you often have to kind of kickstart the market with ads. But then if your product is good and you get it in the hands of people, they're going to talk about it. And so I'm excited for this word of mouth and kind of buzz that has been going from our customers and our referral program of them sending their friends and family our way. So it's mostly been digital ads today, but our referrals and word of mouth is starting to grow.
That's great. And I'm curious, what trends are you seeing in the cognitive enhancement and nootropic space that excite you?
Just in general, people are starting to realize that it's a thing and they can improve their overall cognition, whether that's reducing their anxiety or giving them longer periods of focus or just trying to prevent against cognitive decline and enhance their memory. So there's numerous substances that you can take that have zero downside. In addition to that, meditation, we partnered with an app called The Way. The Way is a meditation app that every one of our subscribers gets access to. It's kind of the practice version of strengthening your cognition. You can think of it kind of like going to the gym, but for your mind, right? And then Bright Mind, our product, is the supplement side of that. So just more and more people are starting to realize that their mind is obviously hugely impactful for the quality of their life and starting to invest in it with that in mind.
What potential challenges in the regulatory landscape are you preparing for?
You just got to be careful about different claims. We don't claim to treat anything, especially any sort of like diseases. Everything that is in Bright Mind and in any product that we're going to or any ingredient that we'll use in any product has all been studied by hundreds of peer-reviewed research papers. So there's 27 active ingredients in Bright Mind. You can look up any one of them and find peer-reviewed papers on their effectiveness of what we're saying it's supposed to help with. And it's important to be transparent. It's important to, kind of guide people along the way of supplementing the things safely. But, to date, we make sure that anything we put into our products are well researched and proven to be effective.
So, what's going to be crucial to get right in the next year for Bright Mind's growth?
Growing and acquiring customers without increasing our customer acquisition costs exponentially. There's always a bit of fluctuation month over month. We've been able to acquire customers at a pretty effective rate comparatively to other benchmarks and brands in the space. And so if we can continue to do that, that makes it very feasible to have positive paybacks on each cohort. So I think that we're going to do that through investing in content like I was talking about earlier. That should continue to keep our cost of acquisition down and potentially even lower it. We're interested to professionalize that and see how good we can get it.
That's great. So, if we were to have this conversation again in 12 months, what metrics or achievements would you say would make it feel it's been a successful year?
Number of subscribers. we can get to 50,000 subscribers by then, I'd be a very happy man. But more importantly, that would mean that we've helped a lot of people. And that's what we're out to do. And we want to help people realize that they can make these improvements, and in particular, give them a shot to feel good and have a product that they can take on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Well, I see that happening for you. So I'm excited to see your rapid growth, and congratulations on your brand.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for today's episode of Healthier, Happier You, the people working to make it happen. A huge thank you to Jim Phillips for sharing his insights, amazing work that Graymatter is doing to help people live healthier, happier lives. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who'd benefit. And if you're a brand or business making an impact in health, wellness, or personal care, we'd love to help you grow. Connect with me at luxhammer.com. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep making a difference.